Hello guys, welcome back to Beyond the Realms, and today I'm going to be reviewing the classic science fiction film from 1987, Robocop. This is of course the entire trilogy, but today I'm only going to be reviewing the first classic film from 1987. I'm not going to spend any time on the story of this. I'm sure everyone watching this video knows the story of Robocop or has seen it, and if you haven't, just go get it. Just go get it and watch it. This is a must-watch film. This is a film that I grew up with. I watched this from when I was a kid. Yes, I did. My parents were cool like that. They let me watch a lot of things that I guess a lot of other kids probably wouldn't be allowed to watch. But I know a lot of people my age that did grow up with this film. I guess it's just, things change over time. Because this film is graphically violent. I mean, even to this day, it would be considered graphically violent. It's not like it was just violent for the times. I mean, there's a ton of bloodshed in this movie, and limbs getting blown off, heads shot. I mean, they don't hold back at all in this film. And that's one of the reasons why I like it. They definitely do not hold back at all. But, this is just a really well-made film in several regards. First off, I guess you could talk about, the fake, the news broadcasts in the movie and the commercials that they put up, because it starts right off with the news broadcast and a commercial. And, I love how they do that. It's a satire, on the times of how it was in the 80s, the very materialistic and the me style of the 80s. It's really reflected in this film. And I think all fans of this movie, really like that aspect of it. The commercials are hilarious. And, the game show host guy or the sitcom, whatever it is, the guy, I'll buy that for $1. That stuff is just so memorable in this, and people often quote a lot of things from those parts in this film. But another aspect of it is, a tremendous cast. I think the cast works across the board on this. I mean, Peter Weller and Nancy Allen as your protagonists, they're really, really good. You get to know Peter Weller a little bit before he becomes Robocop. You see little flashbacks to his past. You get to know little quirks about him and how he is. And him and Nancy Allen just work well as partners. And then also, the cast, the antagonists, the bad guys in this film. Ronnie Cox as Dick Jones. Kirkwood Smith as Clarence Bodiger, though, is just amazing. I think that guy is an excellent bad guy in this film, because he has a look to him, kind of like a certain charm to him, but man, he is just completely evil and vile, and he does not give a fuck about anybody or anything in this movie. I like Miguel Ferrer as Bob Morton. He's kind of like a Shades of Grey type guy. He's not really a bad guy, but he's definitely not a good guy either. He's the one who develops Robocop, and him and Dick Jones are going head to head trying to get something new for the police force going. Dick Jones, of course, has the Ed 209, the big, huge robot. And, they go back and forth a lot in this movie. Also, you got Ray Wise as Leon Nash. He's like a henchman for Clarence Bodiger. Another very good one. What's his name? Paul McCrane that plays Emil, the guy that has the meltdown at the end. He's really good. So, the cast of characters is one big, huge aspect of this movie that makes it work and has made it live on, too, I think. And, the effects, too. The effects in this movie are just amazing. And I think today most of them still hold up. I mean, I still like the stop-motion animation with Ed 209. And, on Blu-ray, you can see, a little bit more than what you could before. And, it does look dated at times. But that's not a bad thing for me at all, because, this movie holds such a soft spot in my heart. It's one of my all-time favorite films. I mean, there's no denying that. But I don't mind. I like the stop motion animation. I think most of it still works really well. And I think RoboCop's outfit still to this day looks amazing. I mean, it looks very real. Now there's parts on this Blu-ray I noticed where things I didn't really see before, and maybe it just comes from not seeing the film for a while. But there's parts where like his neck, where it looks like it's supposed to be like metal or really hard plastic or steel or whatever, and there's parts where he's sitting there with his helmet off towards the end when he's getting repaired, and he's moving his neck, and you can clearly see that it's rubber around his neck. But I don't remember really noticing that stuff before. Maybe that's just something that pops out on Blu-ray. But regardless, though, the movie is awesome. None of that stuff is bad at all, in my opinion, and it's still great. But and I think that the last aspect that I have to mention of why this film is such a classic is the human element that they give RoboCop. He starts off, he's this guy you get to know, and he becomes this machine, and he has no memory of himself at first, but slowly the things that he experiences and he goes through, he starts to realize that he is not just a machine. He is also a man, and the human side of him starts to come back, and eventually he is fully thinking like a human again. And I think that you feel for the character, you get emotionally invested in him, and I think that that's why the film works so well too. It's not just a sci-fi shoot 'em up gore fest with tons of drugs and violence and machines. I mean, there's a real human element to it where you really feel compassionate for Alex Murphy. And I think that that's one of the reasons why it holds up so well. But guys, RoboCop is a flawless film in my opinion. I give it a 10 out of 10. It's one of the all-time science fiction classics. I just cannot recommend this film more. So, I'm going to watch part 2. It's been a very, very long time since I've seen 2. I think part 2, I don't think I've seen that since it was initially out. So, it's going to be like watching it for the first time all over again. I'm pretty anxious. So, yeah, guys, that's RoboCop Part 1, and stay tuned for my review of RoboCop Part 2 coming up a couple days or so. So, I hope you all are doing well. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.